Hello, Squid and Octo kids! Welcome to It's a Splat Theory. I'm your host, Kat, and today I want to talk about the Hero Mode and Octo expansion level names, and answer some questions like who named them, and if their names are even canon and they're in the Splatoon universe. So let's super jump right into it. I want to take this all one game at a time to try and make this easiest. So let's start at the first Splatoon. In my opinion, this game is the most likely to have the level names be the actual names of the missions. And to who named them? Well, there are three possible options I see. Number one is that the Octarians named them, which I think is the least likely of these options. Yes, everything is made and owned by the Octarians, and the kettles that you see the level names at are used by the Octarians to get around. There are a lot of these mission names, like Mission 4, Gusher Gauntlet, 7, Spreader Splatfest, 13, Shifting Splatforms, 20, Octolings Uprising, all the UFO joke ones, and so many more that don't feel like something the Octarians would name their places. The other two options actually go together, and these are that either Captain Cuttlefish or the Squid Sisters name the missions. They would be familiar with Octo Valley, and it makes sense that the people giving Agent 3 the missions would name them. You could also try and say Agent 3 names them, but the names have to do with the stuff in the levels, but you get them before Agent 3 ever completes them, so it wouldn't make sense. Now the Hero Mode in Splatoon 2. It's a very similar case to the first, although I feel like this has an even higher chance of not being named by the Octarians, but instead being named by Marie. Or there's even a chance all the levels are named by Callie, since she'd be in a position to name them, and she'd know everything's in the mission already. Now we move into the more complex stuff, with the Octo expansion. You see, there are two things that make it very different from the previous two. One is that everyone is learning about and exploring the deep sea metro together at the same time. No one has been there before. Off the Hook aren't even really there. The other thing is that a lot, if not all, of the mission names are based off of references to and jokes about songs, movies, TV, and trends from the 1980s and 90s, which isn't something Inklings or Octolings know about. I'll link a list to all the references in the description below, since there are too many references to cover all of them, although a few of them are C10, McFly Station, a reference to Back to the Future, D03, Slap Bracelet Station, a reference to slap bracelets, D10, Labyrinth Station, referencing Labyrinth, A07, Maverick Station, a reference to Top Gun, and J04, Footloose Station, a reference to Footloose. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So you might all be confused because it's been thousands of years since humanity went extinct, and Inklings and Octolings don't even know what a Wii U is. They can't know about any of these things. Well, they might know about slap bracelets, but that's besides the point. But there is one thing in the Deep Sea Metro that would know about all of it, and that's Commander Tartar. You see, he would know all of the references, and it would make sense that he'd name all the mission stuff humans made or did or just our culture because of his longing for humanity and his love of it. It just makes sense. He'd also be in the best position to name them, since Tartar made the whole thing and is in control of all of it. Now for the final one, Splatoon 3. There aren't a whole lot of standout mission names in this game, besides maybe What Caused the Big Bang, You, and After Alterna. But there's nothing that's impossible for Inklings to know about. But there's still the fact that almost no one had been to Alterna before, or at least not for very long. But Deep Cut is also there, and they seem pretty familiar with Alterna, but I'm not completely convinced it was them who named the missions. Who I do think named the missions is Orca. It just makes the most sense. Orca is running the tests and is in control and set up the missions. So it would be logical if it named them as well. And for those few ones that might be a little iffy for Inklings to know, well, Orca was made to hold all of humanity's knowledge, so it would know stuff that they wouldn't. And I hear you all asking about Mr. Grizz. Well, to that I say, Alterna was already there when he got there. He didn't make the whole thing or set up all the tests. But he's also a viable option as well, to be honest. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, super jump over that like button, splat the subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And as always, stay fresh, stay off the hook, stay cool, and catch ya later, Squid and Octo kids.